This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Everyone all set? Cocked? Locked? Here we go. Your dial set correctly to USAPrepares.com. And we're delighted you're here. We're broadcasting 2 hours from high atop the Missouri Ozark Mountains. And there's a link to all of your instructors on the website. Converging threats are confronted daily by our instructors. I'm Vincent Finelli. Trevor's engineering the broadcast in Minnesota. Milo Carter's with us. Milo Carter has been with us for years, and he's been to the meetups, he's been to the expo, he's been on the air with us, and today we're going to talk about pathogens. Welcome, Milo Carter.
Hey, good morning, Vince. How are you?
Milo, I'm really, really well. Your audio's down just a little bit. Maybe we can bring that up.
I'll try. How's that? Is it a little better?
That's great. That's just great.
All right.
Milo, I was in the vehicle last night heading toward the meetup, and Mrs. Finelli turned to me and she said, I'm so glad Milo's going to be on the air with you tomorrow. He's so much fun. He's got great sense of humor. And she was just grinning from ear to ear talking about Milo Carter. And we're kind of talking about some of the things that you said at the last meetup. And, we were talking about Ebola, and we're talking about some really serious things. And you had, you had the whole restaurant laughing. I mean, we're talking about death, destruction. It was a great spin on some really serious information. So it's always good to be on the air with you, Milo.
Well, thanks so much. I appreciate that. I've been accused of having somewhat of a twisted sense of humor, but I'm glad Mrs. Finelli enjoyed it.
And so for class, if you're interested if you're new and you're interested in learning who Milo is, Milo talks about pathogens, and he talks about the eradication of pathogens. And some people might think he's the guy that brings us the Nixall products. And he's been to the expos, and he's sold it. And Nixall is this product that many of us use in our households. So, for example, one of our instructors, she is in the medical field. She's a dentist, and she talks about how she uses it to rinse her vegetables, lettuce, vegetables. I mean, all the vegetables that come out of the field, commercially grown and organically grown, she washes them. Would you share with us why we should be concerned about pathogens on our vegetables?
Well, yeah. Even if you buy organic vegetables, which, I do as often as I can, we have so much, monster bacteria that's been developed. In the United States, we produce and use a lot of antibiotics. But 80% of those antibiotics are used in the food chain. They're for food animals. You can't even go to the feed store anymore and get chicken feed without having antibiotics in it, unless you're willing to pay extra and ask for it specifically. That natural fertilizer that folks are using probably comes from animals at some point that have been exposed to bacteria. There was a recent study in Vancouver. They went to the farmers markets up there, and they said that 72% of the lettuce that they tested had some form of of chloroform bacteria. That's a member of the E. coli family, and 13% of that bacteria they tested was resistant to at least one form of antibiotic, and 3% of that they tested was resistant to 6 types of antibiotics. So the types of bacteria that are out there in the wild now are not like the ones that you and I grew up when we were kids, Vinny. They're tougher, they're more virulent, and they're harder to just get rid of. So using a product like Nixall, which is a hypochlorous acid-based product, gets rid of those. And the way that it gets rid of them is by a process of oxidation. And it, completely denatures them. It, if you could think of it as what happens to a log that's in a fireplace, that's an oxidation process. And when the fire gets done with the log, you end up with ash. And this is kind of what happens with those pathogens that you get rinsed off your vegetables using this stuff. They end up being ash, and you can't recreate anything. Their DNA is destroyed. And so, but that's what you want. You don't want any survivors that can mutate even further. Mm-hmm. That's why you use, the Nixall product, which is great for that. And the hypochlorous acid, which is really wonderful because that's the same compound that's created in our own white blood cells. I had a doctor talk to me about this, and he was really excited about it. He goes, "You know what, Milo? This is almost like having your immune system in a bottle." And I was like, "Yeah, I guess you could say that, Doc. Thanks."
There are a lot of other uses. Now, this is not a commercial. This is something that you really need to think about. We farmers walk out in the fields, and we bring whatever we stepped on in the fields, and we try to get that off our shoes, and but we don't. I mean, we really don't. So
we do the barnyard shuffle, don't we?
and Milo's a farmer too. So there are a whole bunch of us who are farmers. So, but our chickens hang out at the back door, and they like looking through. We have this glass that goes from the bottom of the door, to the top. So the animals, the cats can look in and they can see what's on, the inside from the outside, and from the outside, they can look both ways through the glass, depending on which side of the door they're on. Well, the chickens like to hang out and see what's in the kitchen, and they poop right on the mat. Well, in the summer, flies just love that mat, and I sprayed the mat with Nixall, and you know what? The flies stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when our animals get wounded, like if they race through a barbed wire fence and they're not paying attention, they get, a little cut or something, and I spray Nixall on it. And it works. It
does. It goes back to, what the doctor said to me was, it is basically, the same compounds that's in our white blood cells. And our immune system and other mammals' immune systems, and to a lesser degree, birds, mm-hmm. but not by much. It's the same stuff, and we, thrive with it. But you get those little single cell pathogens that don't have our natural immunity. They just evaporate into essentially dust.
Milo, we were at the meetup at Jimmy's Egg a couple months ago, and one of our students came up to me and goes, "That Nixall's unbelievable. It really worked." And he started taking off his, unbuttoning his shirt to show me his wound. And he said, "I really cut myself, and I want to show you. Wait till you see how Nixall fixed it." And he goes, "Well, I can't show you because it's fixed."
Yeah.
Have you heard stories like that? It really works.
there are some things that you just cannot unsee or unhear. Yeah, I've had people come up and share with me things that, you know, my background is in health, and, you know, and I've seen, you know, cadavers, and I've, you know, seen case studies, and, you know, you never really want to see those things. But, you know, you're in school, and, you know, that's what you do. And then occasionally you have people come up and go, hey, look at this. And you go, no, please, put that away. But they're so proud of the fact that, you know, look, I've had this foot wound that's been open for 3 years. And you go, now look at it. It only looks like it's been open for 6 months. And I mean, and you know, I'm glad that we helped them. You know, I really am. But, you know, I don't want to necessarily see that again.
Well, Milo, you're going to be at
Pull it together, Vince.
Can you imagine a whole restaurant full of us doing this? It's like this when you have to meet Milo. You really do, and you get a chance to do that at the expo. Milo is going to be doing seminars on Saturday and Sunday, and we'll be talking about pathogens and antibiotic resistant pathogens. So he's going to teach you what you need to know to protect yourself. And you're going to bring a display, and you're going to have some products available for sale, the same ones that I buy and that the other instructors buy. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah. As a matter of fact, we're going to be introducing a new brand, and you know, over the last several years, you know, every time I go someplace, you know, it is the exception that I don't have at least 4 or 5 people come up to me and they go, Milo, this stuff is so wonderful. How can I make some money selling this stuff? Mm-hmm. And I say, well, you know, we're working on it. I think now that we kind of figured it out. So We're going to go. Are we going to a break?
Yeah, we're going into a break, and we'll be right back after about 3 minutes. Milo Carter's with us, and he's going to share with us what he's going to bring to the Get Prepared Expo. It's going to be a blast. We'll be right back. Some of you might be wondering, just what is the Get Prepared Expo? The Get Prepared Expo is designed to help everyone survive tornadoes, snowstorms, ice storms, earthquakes, and God forbid, a real terrorist attack. Are you ready? Have you thought through all the scenarios? At the Get Prepared Expo, you'll meet exhibitors who will help you prepare and survive and learn what you need. Included in your all-day passes are 1-hour seminars on water filtration, cooking and heating without electricity, wood, or any kind of fuel, the all-important survival garden, and growing food with heirloom seeds, radiation detection and radiation survival. There are over 60 seminars at the Get Prepared Expo. Think of it as a college preparedness degree in a weekend. Get Prepared Expos are taught by preparedness leaders, authors, medical doctors, and radio personalities. Bring your questions. We have the answers. We hope to see you the last weekend in March. Lebanon, Missouri. GetPreparedExpo.com. GetPreparedExpo.com.
Friends, this is Alex Jones for MidasResources.com. For more than 15 years, I have exclusively used Midas Resources for all my precious metal needs. Whether it's bullion or collectibles you're looking for, Midas Resources is simply the best. I own my gold as a hedge against inflation. This Federal Reserve fiat currency could go the way of the Deutschmark and the Weimar Republic anytime. In these historically dangerous times, it makes sense to physically hold gold and silver. Midas already has some of the best deals in the industry. But if you give them a call and mention the radio special, they will give you a list of the day's super specials. Midas brokers are standing by to answer all your questions at 800-686-2237. They also have a lot of informative free literature explaining the opportunities and risk of holding precious metals. They are ready to answer your questions at 800-686-2237. Again, that's 800-686-2237.
Milo Carter's with us. And Milo, you know, I was thinking about the meetups that you've been to in Springfield, Missouri. And I mentioned that you were coming one night, and you brought cases of gallons of Nixall, and you ran out. So you came back the next week, and you ran out. And so you've got this following, because those of us who have tried it really find that it works great against scrapes and cuts and protecting ourselves. And what's really interesting is that the medical profession seems to be really in tune with the idea of destroying pathogens on our food before we eat it. So what we do is we use it on vegetables, and then we rinse it off. But I've seen you spray this stuff in your face.
Yeah, I do that. I always tell people that's part of my cheesy demonstration that I do. Now, I don't recommend people use the product off-label, but I do that to show that how gentle it is. Now, I know that all of our listeners are well informed and educated, and they know the difference between use and misuse, and they can make decisions on how they want to use it. But our product and even the product of our competitors are, it's safe to use that way. Well, let me say that I know that my product is safe to use it that way, and I assume that theirs is too. But there's so many uses that we can do for it. And it runs the whole gambit of stuff. I'm working as a consultant with a company that's using a version of a product that we manufacture, and they use it to disinfect OR suites now, operating rooms, and they have a technique that they use that they can go in after an operation, and in about 6 minutes they're done with their process that they do, and they can show how they can cover literally every millimeter, every micrometer of surface area with the disinfectant, and have it done in about 6 minutes, because they want the hospital wants that OR turned over in 18 minutes. We have veterinarians that use our product as pre and post operative solutions for their dogs. We have plastic surgeons and general surgeons that are using our FDA products, both pre and post operative, and and they're saying that their infection rates are really dropping. And and if you spend any time in a hospital, you need to know that the average hospital in the United States spends $12 million a year in paying out for damages for what they call nosocomial infections. That's a real fancy word for, hospital acquired infections. But even that word has gotten kind of red flagged. So now, to be politically correct, Vincent, you know how politically correct I like to be. They call it healthcare acquired. And, it's like, yeah, right, you got this at the hospital. So those healthcare acquired infections, $12 billion for an average hospital. Now, if you live in a place where your hospitals aren't average, you know that they're paying out more for that. So, just so if you go to visit somebody, make sure that you look out for your loved one's best interest when you're in a hospital. Ask the attendants, the nurses, the doctors that come in, did you wash your hands? Did you disinfect your stethoscope before you came in here? And even the guys that come in white coats, They wear the same coat from one patient to the next. And of course, nobody ever coughs or sneezes in a hospital, so why should they want to change it?
Milo, when we come back, I'll tell you about a friend who has a business that I want him to use Nixall in his business like all the time, and I'll explain why when we come back. Milo Carter. This is USAPrepares.com. We have a special seminar for you on Friday, March 27th at the Get Prepared Expo. From 9 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon. Spend the day with USA Prepares senior instructors Matt Stein and Dr. Richard Allen Miller. There you'll learn about the 3 major game over events and their likelihood. And most importantly, what to do about them. Events so powerful that they can end life as we know it. Yes, they're real. And our senior instructors will guide you to safety. This seminar is limited to the first 100 who purchase tickets on the website, getpreparedexpo.com. Your tuition for this special seminar is $85. Your satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back. This is an in-depth, all-day seminar, and you're encouraged to take notes. Note-taking materials are provided. Food and beverages are available all day at the Get Prepared Expo, Lebanon, Missouri. GetPreparedExpo.com. GetPreparedExpo.com.
You ever hear about Ghost 80% AR-15 rifle kits? At Guns80.com, they are the 80% specialists, helping to protect our privacy. Look, there are forces out there right now trying to register guns for future confiscation. UN treaties threatening our Second Amendment, our freedom. You need a Ghost AR-15. Get it at Guns80.com. Call 844-2GUNS80. That's 844-248-6780. Own an AR-15 today and keep it a secret. Go to Guns80.com. That's Guns80.com. 844-2GUNS80.
We've been patiently waiting while you tried to ignore us, waiting while you acted like we didn't exist, waiting for our chance to be taken seriously. The wait is over. GCN is available 24/7 at GCNlive.com. Navigate through news from your favorite hosts and download archives of past shows. Download the app on your smartphone or tablet or visit GCNlive.com for instant access and live streaming. GCNlive.com, the future of talk radio, now at your fingertips.
Class, Milo Carter's with us, and we're talking about pathogens. So, Milo, I have like a little story I'd like to share with you about one of our friends. And they have a family business, and their entire family's involved. And what they do is they pick up patients for doctor's appointments that can't get themselves to those appointments. So they pick them up at their homes at a prearranged time, take them, maybe 40, 50, 60 miles into Springfield, Missouri, or wherever their doctor's appointment may be, or their therapy appointment, and then they wait for them to have that appointment, and then they bring them back home. And they do this multiple times a day, and they have, a fleet of vehicles that they use for this. So these are people who are going for cancer treatments. They're going for post-surgery appointments. They're taking them to doctor's offices. They're taking him to the hospital. And I said, do you do anything to your vehicle to prevent yourselves from catching all of these diseases? Because hardly anybody that you take to a doctor's appointment is well. The reason they're going is because they're sick. And then you're taking them to places where there are a whole bunch of sick people. And so I explained Nixall to them, and they thought that was really neat. So what I said was, you ought to consider getting this and putting it in a spray bottle, and it comes in a spray bottle too, if you want, and get the gallon size and spray your car before and after. I mean, what do you think?
I think that's an excellent idea. In fact, we've through Nixall and some of our partners, we've talked to the airlines people for doing that, and we're working on developing ways of dispersal for the product that's fast enough to go through and efficient enough to go through and clean up public transportation. We're looking at ways to do like cruise ships and that kind, and schools and any place they have people that gather. There was a real interesting article in the paper just a few days ago. The Cornell Medical College up in New York went and swabbed, what was it, like 600 and different stations in the New York subway system, and they found DNA from, I don't know, thousands of different types of microbes. I think they said they had 15,000 different types of microbes that they found in the subway stations. And, you know, they found traces of anthrax, they found traces of plague, they found traces of dysentery, they found traces of flu. I mean, pretty much you name it, they found it. They even found traces of bacteria that is normally found in the Antarctic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, go figure. So if you got somebody riding in your car that you know has a weakened immune system, they're either carrying something that they're taking to the doctor, or they're going to be carrying something back from the doctor, because that's where a lot of germs now breed and propagate in those healthcare centers. Yeah, I would absolutely encourage him to do that. You know, it's a very safe way of protecting not only himself and his family members, but it's also a safe way of helping protect his passengers and clients.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
It would be.
And Milo, without getting too graphic, we were talking at one of the meetups about, you know, restrooms, and who knows what happened moments before.
and sometimes you don't even have to use your imagination. Yeah.
It's there. The evidence is there.
Yeah. You know, that's, and without being too graphic, you know, my wonderful wife, Sherry, once said to me as we were out traveling, she says, you know what's worse than a cold toilet seat? And I said, no, sweetheart, what's that? She says, a warm toilet seat. And I said, yep. I said, I hope you had your Nixall with you. And she goes, oh yeah. But, you know, I've seen, you know, some visualizations, some animations of what they think happens, in a bathroom. And, you know, it's not pretty. And you know,
you're talking about the fog, you know, when you hit that flush handle, the fog of spray that comes out entirely covers the all the surface area in that stall. Yeah.
Yeah, it's you know, it makes you not want to go, that's for sure. But you know, so, you know, this is a real simple way. I mean, and again, let me say, if you're not using our product, use one of my competitors' products, because it's too important, for us as, you know, people in the world not to have some sort of protection to go with us. You know, our disinfectant is, you know, cleared by the EPA to say we kill the majority of the new antibiotic resistant superbugs. I mean, we kill HIV and TB and Klebsiella pneumonia and C. diff. You know, and these are things that are moving out of the hospitals and into our communities. In fact, there's even a new phrase. You know, earlier you heard me talk about healthcare acquired infections. Now it's about community acquired infections. And I've seen a number of articles that said, you know, kids playing at the local playground picked up MRSA off the playground equipment because the kids that had been to the hospital now have this hospital acquired infection, MRSA, and it spreads to the playground equipment. You know, MRSA is a terrible thing to have. I was talking with a gentleman just this week about his situation, and it's heartbreaking. It's scary, and it can be life-threatening to have this new drug-resistant staff that comes on you. So, have something in your pocket. Go in there and do it. It's fairly inexpensive out of pocket, but it's invaluable when you think about what you're going to pay in possible hospital bills and just lost time and discomfort, to not have it. So,
Milo, what we're talking about is you can buy this in a gallon, which is 128 ounces, and you can put it in you've got 2-ounce spray bottles that you can carry with you in your automobile. So if you happen to need to use a public restroom, spray the area that you're going to touch. I mean, literally, spray the area you're going to touch. And use every precaution. Milo, there are people who are really sick out there. I mean, really sick.
No kidding. I
said to the meetup group, every 6 months or so, I say, hey, I just want to let you know that this may stop. We may not be, going out anymore. All of us, not just me. We may not be going to restaurants. We may not be going to the city. We may all be staying home because things could develop.
Oh, sure. I mean, look at the way that disease transmits. Here this last fall, I was attending the Missouri Environmental Health Association, the MIHA. I talked to them on occasion as well. But they had a norovirus outbreak, and they were able to actually trace the path of the person who was patient 0 as she walked through the restaurant. And as she brushed up against somebody or had some sort of, close encounter, breathed on them, coughed on them, touched them, whatever. They actually had the path from her table past the other recipients of the norovirus and on her way to the bathroom. I mean, the tables that were 2 or 3 away, no problem. The ones that she actually had contact with, a big problem. And for those of you that are not familiar with the norovirus or the noro-like viruses, they call it the puking disease. And that's what sometimes the big cruise ships have to come back early for, is Norwalk or the noro-like viruses. I mean, you don't want this. So, it's not a guarantee that you're not going to get sick if you use my product, but, it's, kind of like the reasons why we all carry our concealed permits. We have a chance. We don't have so much of a chance, so, being forewarned and forearmed is better than sitting on your heels going, I wonder who's going to help me. So you just do it to help yourself and your family.
Milo, you said something I thought was really quite humorous. We were talking off the air, and you said, hey, those gun kits that we're going to have at the expo, we'll have to get a couple of those.
Yeah, I was talking to some buddies of mine, and I said, hey, I'm going to go to the expo, and I was talking about those gun kits. And they started writing me checks.
I've got one right here in the studio. We're talking about the guns80.com AR-15 kits. Milo Carter's with us. And you're going to get a chance to meet Milo at the expo, the Get Prepared Expo. And we're going to have some dinners, and Milo, you'll get a chance to see Milo on Friday night during the introductions. What a hoot that's going to be. We'll be right back. So just who will you meet at the Get Prepared Expo? For starters, John Moore, John Statmiller, Sam Bushman, Kurt Crosby, Aaron Dakins, Brad Dakins, and me, Vincent Finelli. Joining us, just to name a few, are the senior instructors. Medical Doctor Norman Shealy, Engineer Matt Stein, the real Fox Mulder of the X-Files. Physicist Dr. Richard Allen Miller. Author Captain John Regan. Counter-terrorist Mike Ma. Author Rich Sheben. And the CSPOA founder, Sheriff Richard Mack. You'll learn how water wells work, how to buy gold and silver quietly, discreetly, and privately. Learn the importance of good health and how to care for your loved ones. Learn alternative medicines, overcoming anxiety, stress, high blood pressure, and alternative cancer treatments. You'll have access to more doctors, more authors, more talk show hosts than any event we know of. The Get Prepared Expo, the last weekend in March, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the 27th, 28th, and 29th. GetPreparedExpo.com. That's GetPreparedExpo.com.
This alert just came in. This special announcement is for business owners and leaders of organizations who've been waiting for the right time to build. General Steel has made it impossible to wait any longer with rock-bottom prices that could save you thousands. That's right, General Steel, America's leader in pre-engineered structures, is offering buildings at prices you will never see again. Don't miss these prices. A 50 by 100 for $35,000. You heard right. That's 5,000 square feet for $35,000. Manufacturers, if you need a larger building, try a 100 by 100 commercial building for $129,000. You can't afford to rent with these prices. Imagine a 70 by 100 foot church building for under $69,000. With the economy improving and interest rates still at historic lows, you can't afford to wait. So call 866-91-STEEL. Lock in your price now. Call 866-91-STEEL. That's 866-917-8335.
It's no secret that government and big business buy in bulk and get huge discounts not available to the little guy. Until now. Introducing a breakthrough crowd buying website where people can join together, buy in bulk, and get massive discounts on millions of popular products. It's TogetherSave.com. TogetherSave.com. You can save 20, 30, or even 50% off tablets, smartphones, cars, appliances, textbooks, sports equipment, video games, and much more. All with free delivery. Check it out. TogetherSave.com. Visit now and start group buying today at TogetherSave.com.
This is Dan Pillett. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Class, we're talking with Milo Carter. And we're talking about a product that you know as Nixall. Dr. Shealy recommends this product. Dr. Shealy uses it, and you know we've been on the broadcast classroom with Dr. Norman Shealy many times, and he's referred to using Nixall for many of our disinfectant purposes. And so, you know, I was just thinking, we use it in the kitchen to wipe down the counter if Mrs. Finelli is going to bake bread, and she'll, you know, wash the counter, and if she's going to roll out bread, and she'll, you know, disinfect the counter. It's used in bathrooms. I use it as a deodorant. And you ought to consider using it in public areas, and for those pet areas where you're concerned about pathogens that they may bring in to your household. So there's a whole bunch of purposes and locations where you should use it. Milo, you'll have it at the expo. If people want to buy it, they can bring it. They can buy it and take it home with them, right?
Oh yeah, and I don't know if you know this about me, Vincent, but I'm kind of a capitalist and somewhat of an entrepreneur. All day long.
Yeah.
And, you know, earlier I said, you know, I had people coming up and ask, you know, every time I talk someplace, they always say, well, where can I get this product? You know, and most of them say, well, how can I make some money with this? Because I have friends that, you know, just like you and I do, you know, just like you guys with the medical transport. So, Nixall partnered with a company called Nature's Unleashed, and because their skill set is beyond what mine is or what anybody at the company's is, and so they've set up a situation where people can actually become a distributor for Nature's Unleashed, which is manufactured by Nixall. And the nice thing about it is is that the prices are the same. You either get Nixall or you get Nature's Unleashed, and it's the same product at the same price. It's got a little nicer label on it, I think, but their distribution system is better than ours, and the way that they allow people to make money with it is better than ours, because that's their forte. That's what they do. So when I'm at the expo coming up at the end of March here, the products that I'll have will have the Nature's Unleashed label on it, but it'll have Nixall on the inside of it, and it'll be the same prices as if I was selling the Nixall, and I'm going to be offering a special on some of the products there. So come up and talk to me about it. If you're an entrepreneur or a diehard capitalist like I am, you may be interested in this. You may be able to make a few bucks. And if it's not something you want to do, it costs no more than buying Nixall anyplace else. So it's a win-win for everybody, I think.
Mm-hmm. And seriously, I wouldn't be talking about this if we didn't use it here at the farm. And Milo, I pay the same price that everybody else pays for this. Yep. It really works. And our animal, we use it on our animals. We use it to disinfect all kinds of areas around the farm. But just think about going forward. Milo, let's talk about very quickly. Some people are thinking, well, they can use chlorine to do this job. How would you contrast the two?
Well, when people talk about using chlorine, they're usually talking about using bleach. Now, bleach is an oxychlorine species, but so is hypochlorous acid. But that's about the only thing that they can say about them as in common. The hypochlorous acid is an acid to begin with, which means its pH is lower than 7. And the sodium hypochlorite, which is what you find in your liquid bleach bottle, is an alkaline, and it dries your skin. It's harmful to your eyes. It hurts your lungs. It's kind of unpleasant to deal with. But when you talk about the hypochlorous acid, it moisturizes your skin. It doesn't irritate your eyes. It doesn't hurt your lungs. And it's something that our body produces for the benefit of our body. So it's that, you can look at it and say, well, bleach is the evil, step sibling of our hypochlorous acid products.
Milo, we're out of time. We're out of time.
No.
Yeah, we are. Hey, Milo, thanks so much. I'll see you at the expo.
It's happening again. The feds are trying to ban your freedom to own body armor. In January, a newly introduced bill, H.R. 378, will take away your right to buy Level 3 and higher body armor. Katie Armor offers the most affordable Level 3 body armor packages on the market today. Protect yourself. Buy your body armor now before it's too late. Go to katiearmor.com. That's CATIarmor.com. Come and take it.
Have you ever wondered if you could make electric, light, or heat in your home for free? It is now a new day. How about a motor that charges batteries at the same time? What if this also restores useless batteries and saves you lots of money? Come to our Renaissance Charge Conference Workshop on March 7th and 8th in Chicago. Visit r-charge.com. That's r-charge.com for details. Or call 208-304-2954. 208-304-2954.
The Genesis Communications Network is one of America's premier broadcasters of captivating talk radio. We thank you for listening. Now, just imagine, there are thousands of people who are just as passionate about radio as you are. But what you may not realize is how easy and affordable it is to advertise with us. Radio commercials for your business could be heard on hundreds of radio stations across the U.S. every day. We can help you by creating an effective radio advertising campaign for your company. From script writing to producing your commercial, just like the one you're listening to right now. No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@gcnlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Everyone all set? Cocked, locked. Here we go, hour number 2 of USAPrepares.com. We're going to be talking about seeds. We're going to be talking about the future of life here on the planet. We're going to be talking with your instructor, Gayla Prewitt. Gayla, you wrote a book called Seed Police. Welcome to USAPrepares.com. Thank you very much. Glad to be here. Gayla, you and I met at an event in Springfield, Missouri, and I really liked what you had to say about seeds and about the genetically modified seeds and how you're ringing the alarm for the whole world to see what is happening with the future of our food. And you're very concerned about it. You live just outside of Springfield, Missouri, and let's start with the story. What happened to wake you up to cause you to jump in to ring the alarm at such a level?
Well, actually, it kind of hit me at home with my children, and I think a lot of people who get involved in these things, that's kind of what happens. If life's going okay, you don't pay attention, but when you have health issues and they're with your children, you start trying to find out why so many things are happening. And some of this started when our daughter was small, and she had some issues with learning and behavior and a lot of health issues. And so that kind of started me on a journey to learn more. And we discovered about food additives and things like that and how that can affect your health and your learning and your behavior. And I found a very good organization called the Finelli Association. And that organization really opened my eyes to a lot of the things that were in our foods. One of the things being the artificial colors. And I found out that those were made from petroleum, and here they were in our food, which shocked me at the time. And but I did research. I didn't just take the organization's word for it and found it on the FDA website even. So that is true. They have petroleum in our food, made from the dyes. And so we did that, and we saw a lot of improvements in our daughter's behavior got better. Her learning improved at school. Some of the health issues she'd had for a long time were either eliminated or much, much improved. And then when some of our other children, when they, our 2 oldest boys, which are younger than our daughter, we had been on this, it was called the Finelli diet, and we'd eliminated all those things. Well, they started getting sick, and so sick that we would have to take them to the doctor every time they got a cold. It would run into an infection, a secondary infection. They ended up on antibiotics, and so all kinds of their cascading health problems that happened after that. And so we took them to a specialist in Kansas City, and he found out that they had high levels of heavy metals, predominantly arsenic. And we're talking 3-year-old and a 1.5-year-old child. So we did some digging, found out that we had what was called CCA-treated lumber. Vincent, I don't know if you're familiar. You probably know what CCA-treated lumber is and what it's made from, but at the time I didn't realize that what the A stood for arsenic. And so we had bought wood from the lumber store to make porches. That's what it was for, picnic tables, porches, swing sets. And our children, by going up and down on that, touching it, had absorbed that arsenic through their skin. And so anyway, that really, here's the second major alarm bell. I thought I could go to the store, buy something, because the government agencies were looking out for me, and it had to be safe if it was in the store. I'd already been alerted about some of the things in our food, but this was just the second alarm. So I did even more research, and the more and more I started digging, about this time along came the genetically modified organisms. And when I started reading about that, to me, all the other things, in a way, they're a cumulative thing, but that kind of pales in comparison, because this technology, from what I understand, once we have it in our environment, there's no way really to retrieve it. And it has the potential, from what I understand, to contaminate everything else. So it's not just genetically modified seeds that we have to worry about. Oh, I won't grow those. But they also can contaminate things that aren't. So that's kind of in a nutshell what drew me into this subject.
Yeah, when you talked about CCA treated lumber, it's chromated copper arsenate, CCA. Yeah. And that's that greenish colored wood that you can buy at, many of these big box home improvement stores like Lowe's and Home Depot and lots of other places. Well, this product is so dangerous that I had a man call me from outside the country, and he wanted to be in touch with some of our medical instructors, and he said he wanted to ring the alarm because he was dying of cancer because of the handling of this product. He was in an industry where they used a lot of CCA-treated wood, and they would cut it with circular saws, and the dust would go in the air, and they would inhale the dust, so they would have CCA-treated wood particles going into their respiratory system, into their bloodstream, and he was dying of cancer from this. And if you think about it, this pressure-treated wood that we use all over, we use it because we don't want the bugs to eat it. We don't want the insects to eat it. We want the microbes to die from eating it. Well, what makes us think that it's safe for us to handle? So, do we have some of this at the farm? Yeah, we do have a small amount of it at the farm, but when we handle it, we wear respirators, we wear gloves, and then we wash down very, very thoroughly. So you're absolutely right. It is a serious, serious problem. And previously, previously they would call it pressure-treated wood. The original formulation has been banned, and it's only allowed for industrial uses. Homeowners can't get that anymore. So it's very, very serious. So I understand what you're saying, and it can kill you.
Exactly. Well, and that's what was so concerning to me. Yes, arsenic is a big carcinogenic, and this was in my babies. And I just, I never ever, I guess I was ignorant, but I never ever realized what the CCA stood for. I knew it was a wood preservative, but like you said, I guess I should have thought a little deeper. And later, when I did do research, I found on the EPA website it was classified as a pesticide. And even at that time, I never would have put a pesticide around my children, but here I did. And so, yes, it was very, very upsetting.
So we've gone away from using cedar for our decks and redwood for our decks because those two types of wood are so expensive, but we can take a cheaper wood like pine and treat it with chemicals that insects won't eat, and it will last, well, they'll say 40 years. I don't know. So where is this used? Well, if you look at 4x4 fence posts, if you look at those green treated fence posts that you can put around your property, if you look at those, they call them landscaping timbers, those greenish colored timbers that you might put around your vegetable garden. Think twice about that because that's treated with these pesticides. So we don't use those around our garden. Absolutely not. So just think about that. So, Gayla, yeah, you've been talking about the seed police, and Mrs. Finelli loves your book. She was at the restaurant last night, Jimmy's Egg, and she had your book out, and she said, if Gayla writes another book, I want to read it.
Tell her thank you. That's very nice.
Yeah, she loves your book, and the premise is, correct me if I'm wrong, but the premise is that there's this group of people who, are outlaws because they are using underground seeds that are not government approved. They are heirloom type seeds. So they are in fear for their lives because they're using seeds that, used to be widely used, and now they become illegal. Is that right? Isn't that the premise?
Yes, there's nothing allowed but genetically modified seeds in my book world, and because the government has said, they have designed a better seed, and it will eliminate diseases in the people, eliminate diseases in the plant, and they don't want any other seeds out there being grown. They do not allow farmers to grow crops anymore. They're required to keep their fields plowed because they are afraid that the farmers' seeds will contaminate the GMO seeds. So that's their argument of, we can't have them growing anything because we want total control because what we've got is safe. But in actuality, in the book, people are getting sick, and of course they turn that around on the seed savers and say that they're the ones causing the outbreaks of disease. So yes, that's correct.
So what we're talking about is a huge lie in your book by the government telling us that if we eat food from these old type seeds, people are getting sick, they're dying, and we need to prevent that. So we need to eradicate that. And that would encourage, if you extrapolate this, that would encourage people to tell and to rat out anyone who had the old seeds, the heirloom seeds, the kind of seeds that we recommend and promote and advocate at the Get Prepared Expo and on USA Prepares, the old kind of seeds that are tried and true natural seeds. The government is encouraging, in your book, people to rat out anyone who has those by extrapolation. Isn't that correct?
Yes, that's correct. They even have, their faces when they discover that they have been growing seeds. They have their faces on the television, and everybody's supposed to, if they find them, they're to call the government. So it ends up in the middle of the book. Some of them are on the run and trying to hide out. So yes, that is true.
Mm-hmm. So if you think about what you are explaining in your book, it seems like it's actually happening. We're encouraging people to rat out. Janet Napolitano would say, if you see something, say something. Rat people out. This is nuts. Absolutely nuts. Gayla, I want to share something with you. I know some young college boys, and they were having a discussion, and actually, the discussion became a little heated. Now, there were no fists flying or anything like that, but the discussion became heated. And one of the young men said, all right, I'm just gonna tell the administration of the college.
Oh.
The argument stopped right there, and it turned to, you gotta be kidding me. And that guy felt like he had just ostracized himself from everyone by even thinking about ratting anybody out, as if it were, something that they were doing wrong, and it wasn't. It wasn't. But that's where we're going. What's so special about the Get Prepared Expo? Imagine having the opportunity to learn from some of the best preparedness and survival instructors available today. The faculty of USAPrepares.com. Imagine meeting your radio instructors all in one place. The last weekend in March. Imagine having lunch or dinner at a table with your instructors. And the cost? $10.80. Imagine having your favorite instructors autographing and personalizing your new books. Imagine buying Berkey water filters at deep discounts, the lowest price in the country. Imagine buying freeze-dried, long-term storage food at the lowest price in the country. You don't have to imagine. This is real. It's at the Get Prepared Expo, the biggest and best preparedness expo there is, March 27, 28, and 29 in Lebanon, Missouri. One-day tickets are $8 on the website, getpreparedexpo.com. Getpreparedexpo.com.
What good is a Big Berkey water filter?
We get that question a lot here at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. And in a word, the answer is protection. Protection from water main breaks, E. coli contamination, environmental chemical spills, pesticide runoff, chlorine taste and smell, and all forms of fluoride. Plus, Big Berkey water filters are the original gravity water filter system and most trusted on the market for a reason. Tested by multiple independent NSF EPA certified labs, they are the gold standard in water purification. At only 1.7 cents a gallon, a single set of filters can last for 5 to 10 years. That means big savings. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get a Big Berkey today at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. GCN listeners receive 5% off all ceramic filter systems. Visit our website or call 1-877-99-BERKEY. That's 877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
Gayla Prewitt's with us, and Gayla, I have a short announcement. I've been on the phone many times during this broadcast with some of our instructors who are going to be at a meeting tonight, and I don't know if you're aware of this, but one of our instructors and students, he's a 68-year-old man, he was tased by the Sparta City Police.
I did read about that, yes.
Okay. He's one of us. And he's been to the expos, he's been to the meetups, he's been in the radio studio with me. He's not been on the air, but he's talked about Agenda 21. His name is Bob Estep. Well, Bob Estep is suffering neurological damage as a result of being tased by a Sparta police officer, Andrew Spencer. And the Sparta Police Department and the mayor seem to think it's okay to do this. Well, there's a group of citizens in the community who are outraged by this. Last night we had a meetup at Jimmy's Egg, and one of the topics that we talked about is, what is our response? Well, there are about 50 people who said that they would be, part of us, USA Prepares, who are going to the city alderman's meeting in Sparta, Missouri tonight. And so we're going to meet, and here are the details for those of you who are interested in going. We're going to meet at the Walmart at 5:30 in Ozark, Missouri. We're going to meet at the Walmart parking lot, and you'll see us out there. And then we are going to go in cars with, we're going to get in fewer cars, and we're going to have a little caravan over to the Sparta City Hall, and we're going into the meeting. So dress warmly. Now, there are reports on some websites and blogs, and they're talking about, and Facebook, and some people are talking about a Ferguson-type event. I want to make this absolutely clear to all of those who are interested in violence. Well, we are not. USA Prepares, our instructors, our faculty, and our staff and our students are not interested in violence. Okay? We've discussed this, and we are not part of this. And if there is violence, we are going to leave. Okay? So what I'm saying is, we may get branded with some of the fallout from events that may happen. We are not planning any violence. We do not endorse, support, nor condone any violence. All we are doing is going to support Bob Estep, one of us, who was tased. And we believe recklessly. We believe without cause. There's no need for using almost deadly and sometimes deadly force with these tasers. We want it stopped across the country. But we are not interested in a Ferguson-style mayhem by some out-of-control provocateurs. If that happens, it is not us at usaprepares.com. We are not doing it, but we will be there. Okay? So we're going to meet at the Walmart parking lot in Ozark at 5:30. And then we are going to consolidate and take fewer cars, fewer trucks, fewer vehicles over to the alderman's meeting at City Hall in Sparta. And if you'd like to join us, please do.
And like you were saying, peaceful demonstrations get so much more accomplished. It doesn't take the focus off of what you're trying to do when you're peaceful. And if you're not peaceful, people aren't going to pay attention, and it just looks like a bunch of radicals, people that are just there to cause trouble. So I totally agree with what you're saying on that.
Yeah, and I just want to make sure that it's very, very clear that I don't know how else to say it, but you know, if you think about the event that you and I were at in Springfield, Missouri, you know, months and months ago, it was very peaceful. A lot of people were there, and we didn't need the police because everybody was calm and nice and polite of each other. And that's the way it always is with us. We haven't had any problems, but this time there are always provocateurs. And all you have to do is hire a few people to break a few windows. And say, I tell you what, you know, this is big, and it's your duty to go break some windows. That's not us. We're not interested in doing that. And if that happens, we're out of there. Now the media is going to be there. The media is going to be there, and they may brand us as the bad guys. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm not sure that they will, but it's easy to lump us in with others. But we are not interested in doing that. But we are interested in stopping the tasing and the killing of our dogs and animals and bashing down our doors and these SWAT-style raids. We're interested in stopping that right now. And we want to do it peacefully. Gayla Prewitt's with us. You'll get a chance to meet her at the Get Prepared Expo. She's going to be doing seminars talking about the future of food, seeds, and it's up to us to fix it. We'll be right back. Some of you might be wondering, just what is the Get Prepared Expo? The Get Prepared Expo is designed to help everyone survive tornadoes, snowstorms, ice storms, earthquakes, and God forbid, a real terrorist attack. Are you ready? Have you thought through all the scenarios? At the Get Prepared Expo, you'll meet exhibitors who will help you prepare and survive and learn what you need. Included in your all-day passes are 1-hour seminars on water filtration, cooking and heating without electricity, wood, or any kind of fuel, the all-important survival garden, and growing food with heirloom seeds, radiation detection and radiation survival. There are over 60 seminars at the Get Prepared Expo. Think of it as a college preparedness degree in a weekend. Get Prepared Expos are taught by preparedness leaders, authors, medical doctors, and radio personalities. Bring your questions. We have the answers. We hope to see you the last weekend in March. Lebanon, Missouri. GetPreparedExpo.com. GetPreparedExpo.com.
Hi, this is Larry Smith. Sometimes bad things happen to good people. When the cleaners ruined some special clothing, all they could do was show us a sign that said they weren't responsible. But when they got the letter from one of our Legal Shield attorneys, he promptly gave us a check for $1,152. Worry less and live more with lsprotection.com. That's lsprotection.com, or call 855-340-SAVE. That's 855-340-7283.
Results will vary from case to case.
Genesis is defined as an origin, creation, or the beginning. Genesis Communications Network began with the mission of providing you with the kind of compelling content you're listening to now. And at GCNlive.com, you'll find a free archive of our nation's history, narrated by GCN hosts, explored, shared, and passed down to future generations. GCN is the future of talk radio, but we should always strive to learn from our past. Together, we are GCNlive.com. GCN.
Class Gayla Prewitt's with us, seedpolice.com, seedpolice.com. Gayla, you mentioned earlier in the broadcast food colors, made with petroleum products. You've got to ask yourself, if you go down those, the beverage aisle at the Chinese factory outlet, also known as Walmart, they've got beverages for young people that have red colors that just don't appear in nature. Blue, that doesn't appear in nature. Green, doesn't appear in nature. Yellow, these colors just don't appear in nature. And they're making these products attractive to some people. I don't know why anybody would say, boy, I really want one of those ultra red drinks. Why would anybody want to do that? And what does that do to your body? Obviously, your body doesn't know what to do with it. If you look at someone who had one of those red lollipops, if you will, and they stick out their tongue, it's that red color. If they have a blue one, it's the blue color. We're killing ourselves, and some people don't even know it.
That's right. And what's frustrating about that, obviously those colors are not found in nature. They're not made from anything that our body was meant to have in our system. As I mentioned earlier, they're derived from petroleum, and that's not something that we were designed to have in our bodies. So when we're having all these health issues and we wonder what's going on, well, our food is our basic building block for our health. And it does matter, in my opinion, what kind of food we're eating. And it's not just about calories. A lot of times we hear about obesity and calories. Well, obviously, yes. The more you eat, the more calories you have, but it's the kinds of calories and the kinds of things we're putting in our bodies. And there's been even research that, in addition to the food dyes and the artificial sweeteners, that they actually increase obesity because they fool your brain into thinking you need more food. And so, there's so many of those things out there that we just don't know about. And if we don't get that information, we don't hear it on the news very often, in my opinion, and we think, like I used to think, if you go to the store, it's in the store, it's been deemed safe, so it should be okay for you to eat. One of the frustrating things about this issue is that Europe, a lot of European countries, will not accept these kinds of things. So our American companies are making different products and sending them to Europe. So we still get the junky food, and they send that over there. Another issue has been the labeling. They want GMOs. A lot of people want to know if GMOs are in our food, which I just returned from the Missouri Organic Association's conference in Springfield on Friday. The whole day was just about genetically modified organisms, and there were so many experts there. These are people with PhDs. They know what they're talking about. I still need to go through the information and kind of analyze all the data, and I hope to have more information about that on our website. We have YouTube channel, and I will have those interviews that I did with those people on there. But 80%, they're saying 80% of the foods in our stores have genetically modified organisms in there. And so unless it's labeled, how are people going to avoid that if they're wanting to do that?
Gayla, can you share with us your YouTube channel so we can send our class over there?
Yes. Actually, if you go to the website, seedpolice.com, I have a link there. And so you can, if you get there, you can click on the YouTube icon and it will take you to the channel. I have not uploaded those interviews yet. I plan to have those within the week and at the most 2 weeks from now. So yes, there's a lot of new information coming out. There's a lot of studies that they were talking about. One of the gentlemen was instrumental in getting a study on pigs, and it reflected they'd studied GMO-fed pigs and non-GMO-fed pigs, and then they did autopsies and looked at their stomachs. And according to the gentleman with the study, the GMO-fed pigs had horrible problems with ulcers and inflammation inside their intestines. And one of the reasons that he says this is also significant, not just for the pigs, but humans and pigs have very similar digestive systems. So when we think about all the autoimmune disorders we have anymore and how much of that starts in the gut, we have to wonder, you know, what's going on here? Is that some connection going on there? Also, they were talking about glyphosate, which is the active ingredient in Roundup. And one of the things I thought, okay, well, avoid GMOs. We try to eat mostly organic. But one of the things that I had been told, sugar beets are GMO, but sugar cane was not. And I've just recently heard about this, and Vincent, you may have already known about this, but a crop doesn't have to be GMO to be sprayed with Roundup. And wheat and sugar cane, I recently learned about the wheat. They spray it with massive doses of Roundup shortly before the harvest in order to, it's called drying. So it will cure pretty much all at the same time, and they can harvest it. So that is being done even though it's not a GMO crop. So just labeling the GMOs is not going to solve all the issue with being exposed to some of the herbicides that are used in GMO farming. Sugarcane is another one that they spray, and I don't know if you've been, had heard that sugarcane was supposed to be non-GMO, which it's not GMO, and sugar beets, avoid that. And so, but they're still spraying it with the Roundup. So that's another thing to think about, and that's on our foods right before it's being harvested for us to eat and consume.
If you think about what Dr. Shealy, Dr. Norman Shealy, medical doctor, and Dr. Joel Wallach, both of whom will be at the Get Prepared Expo, have said on the air, they've said, avoid wheat, avoid wheat, avoid wheat. Okay? Sometimes it's avoid gluten-free, avoid wheat. Well, it's because of the glyphosate. It's because of the Roundup type sprays that end up in that food that we're eating that's causing disease. It's causing all kinds of problems. When I was growing up, autism was really, really, really rare. Okay? Cancer was really, really rare. Most of the diseases that we have now that are in almost every family were very, very rare. Obesity was really rare. Well, it's not rare anymore.
No, they gave a lot of frightening statistics at this seminar on Friday, and that's what they were talking about. And a lot of one of the presenters talked about a lot of the organs that are the higher cancer rates that we're having in are also the same organs that are targeted by this Roundup herbicide. So, and as they pointed out, correlation does not necessarily mean causation, but I think there's enough information there that our government agencies should be looking into this, and they should at least allow people to know that that's in their food, and it should be labeled. There's an issue right now. The watchdog organizations are wanting everyone to write their congressmen and women and their senators to let them know that they do not approve of, and it's a bill called the Safe and Accurate Food Labeling Act. And opponents of the bill call it the DARK Act, which means Deny Americans the Right to Know Act. And basically what this bill would do would prohibit any state from passing laws that would require labeling of GMO foods. I believe this was introduced by a representative from Kansas named Mike Pompeo, I think. And so they're asking everyone this week to call and write and let them know if they oppose this bill. I think he first introduced it last spring, and there's some information that he's going to do that again here shortly. So I would like everyone to be aware of that. I do have information about that also on my website. It's on our resources page, and it has a link where you can click on there and sign a petition, and also gives you information of how to find who to call.
Okay, it's Big Food's DARK Act, introduced in Congress. Representative Mike Pompeo, as you said, Republican, yes. Kansas, would block any federal or state action to require labeling of foods made with genetically engineered ingredients. It would block the labeling.
That's right? Correct, yes.
So this would this action, it would block any federal or state action to require labeling. Okay, so here's a guy, if I'm reading this correctly, this guy is a traitor. This guy is a traitor to we the people. This guy needs to be removed from office. So what we need to do is find out his cell phone number. If any of you have his cell phone number and you can get that to me, we'll give it out on the air, and we'll just start calling this guy. It's out of control. Now, here's my take on this. If GMO ingredients were good for us, these food manufacturing companies would put a big sticker, a big banner on their packaging to say, GMO foods. We use GMO foods. This is great. This is beneficial. You'll live longer. You'll be healthier. No, they're trying to hide it. They're trying to hide the fact that they have manipulated life, engineered it in a laboratory. And we know it's getting us sick. But this guy, Mike Pompeo, Republican of Kansas, introduced in Congress a bill to protect these companies using these ingredients so that we don't know who they are. Out of control. These guys, I wonder how big the bribe is that this guy accepted. Who in his right mind would sign on to this? I have called these people. Gayla, you might not want to be involved in this. I'm going to say some things there. Well, here we go. These guys are defective. People who would want to protect companies who put ingredients in food that are not safe, that are not healthy, that can kill you over the long term, they're defective. Literally defective. I've asked Dr. Norman Shealy, Dr. Shealy, are politicians who do these kinds of things defective? Literally defective in mind and body. And he said, yes, they are defective. So these defectives are trying to prevent you from knowing the truth. Absolutely out of control. Gayla Prewitt's with us. I hope she'll be back after these few short commercial announcements. after what I just said. And I'll just say, those are my thoughts. Those are my thoughts and my thoughts alone. So if you guys want to come after me, go ahead. My information and phone number's on the website. We'll meet you at the farm. We'll be right back. We have a special seminar for you on Friday, March 27th at the Get Prepared Expo. From 9 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon. Spend the day with USA Prepare's senior instructors, Matt Stein and Dr. Richard Allen Miller. There you'll learn about the 3 major game over events and their likelihood. And most importantly, what to do about them. Events so powerful that they can end life as we know it. Yes, they're real. And our senior instructors will guide you to safety. This seminar is limited to the first 100 who purchase tickets on the website, getpreparedexpo.com. Your tuition for this special seminar is $85. Your satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back. This is an in-depth all-day seminar and you're encouraged to take notes. Note-taking materials are provided. Food and beverages are available all day at the Get Prepared Expo, Lebanon, Missouri. GetPreparedExpo.com. GetPreparedExpo.com.
This alert just came in. This special announcement is for business owners and leaders of organizations who've been waiting for the right time to build. General Steel has made it impossible to wait any longer with rock-bottom prices that could save you thousands. That's right, General Steel, America's leader in pre-engineered structures, is offering buildings at prices you will never see again. Don't miss these prices. A 50 by 100 for $35,000. You heard right. That's 5,000 square feet for $35,000. Manufacturers, if you need a larger building, try a 100 by 100 commercial building for $129,000. You can't afford to rent with these prices. Imagine a 70 by 100-foot church building for under $69,000. With the economy improving and interest rates still at historic lows, you can't afford to wait. So call 866-91-STEEL. Lock in your price now. Call 866-91-STEEL. That's 866-917-8335.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
This is Dan Pillett. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Class, there's a museum in Iceland, and they have a McDonald's hamburger in this museum, and they just had it under, a cover. It looks like it was cooked a few minutes ago. It's been there since 2009, along with the French fries. And the point is, it appears that even bacteria won't eat this material. And here we have, introduced in Congress, legislation by Mike Pompeo, Republican of Kansas, that would block you from knowing that I don't even know if we can call it food. We'll call it food that you might buy would be genetically modified. They want to prevent you from knowing what's in your food. And people who eat organic food want to know what's in their food. Now, I guess we're a minority, those of us who want to eat organic food. We want to know what's in it. It's unbelievable that your government is considering legislation to prevent you from knowing what you're going to eat. And I talked with Mrs. Finelli about this last night on the way home from the meetup, that with the Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, which is destroying our healthcare system, it's a great way to do an experiment countrywide. They can give us, we'll call it food, that's been modified, and then shortly thereafter they can see if it's working. See if they're killing us, at the rate that they want to kill us. Maybe they need to speed it up or slow it down. Well, they'll be able to know because they'll have those statistics, because they are consolidating healthcare. That's not even the right word anymore. Measurements, health measurements, maybe that's what it should be called, so that they can determine what's happening to us, we the people. Now, these are all my opinions. I don't want any of you to think that what I have just said is endorsed or supported by Gayla Prewitt. I mean, she may, but those are my words. Gayla, did I say something that...
Well, one of the things that was pointed out at the seminar was that a lot of the large corporations that are involved in agriculture also have strong ties or are the parent companies for a lot of the pharmaceutical companies. So you can make your own conclusions from that, but they could be mutually beneficial if one were to affect the other's health. So I don't think that really portrays it might be a good business model, but I don't know how ethical it would seem to me.
We used to have a computer company, and I used to say to some of our customers, I think these antivirus companies, are on one side of the street, and on the other side of the street they've got another company that creates the viruses. So we've got the virus creation company, and we've got the antivirus company, and so they create business for themselves, and that's the kind of thing you're talking about. You're talking about, so the food industry creates some sicknesses for we the people, but across the street they've got the pharmaca mafia, and they've got the cure. So they create the problem, and then they sell us the solution. I think, I don't think it's that far of a stretch. I really don't.
Well, I think it's definitely something that I think we all should be aware of and try to do more research about. And I think that's a lot of the problem was we're not getting the information. And that is one of the reasons why, even though the book is fiction, I felt like it has a lot of things in it that hopefully will make people think and do more research, because we don't see it on the evening news. And I think a lot of the times, too, a story will capture your attention and give you a way to be entertained at the same time being informed. And so, I think we need more information, and hopefully the book will help people want to seek more.
Gayla, will you be bringing your book for sale and autographing it right at the expo?
Yes, I will.
That's great. So Gayla's all set for seminars at the Get Prepared Expo. If you'd like to learn about the future of food and seeds at a more detailed level, she'll be sharing that information with you. Seedpolice.com, SEED, police.com. Tonight, the Aldermen's meeting in Sparta. I'll be there. No violence from USAPrepares.com. Gayla, thanks so much for being with us, class. Above all, honesty and integrity. What happens next is up to you.